Hey everybody, this is Rob. Thanks for tuning in to Long Island Sounds. This episode is going to be with Mr. Craig Block, a friend of mine that I met a few years ago, and we just kind of kept in touch even during the pandemic. And he has been doing a lot of world traveling, shooting all sorts of models all over the world. So, without any further ado, let's talk to Mr. Craig Block. Hey everybody, this is Rob Armstrong with Long Island Sounds, and tonight's guest is going to be Long Island photographer Craig Block. I met Craig a few years ago through one of the meeting groups that we joined together, and his career has really been taken off late, and I really wanted to talk with Craig and see how everything has been going. And it looks like he's got some visitors. How you doing, Craig?
Doing pretty good. It's not a bad night. We're doing some shooting over at the studio. And I have with me Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Kelsey. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad. So, I got some questions that I want to get out of the way with Craig. I know you guys got a busy night, but I think I just want to start at the beginning with Craig. And Craig, what sparked your interest in photography? And in addition to that, what genre first fascinated you?
Well, actually, I started photography when I was in high school. Did back the whole
Were you in a photo club?
darkroom film. Yeah, and I really loved it back then. I had a few years where I had to put it aside because my camera got stolen. My house got broken into. My camera got stolen. I didn't have a camera for a while. But I always loved doing it, and never really considered it as a career, just because I got married kind of young. So it's like, the money side of it really wasn't there. So I was able to keep it going as a hobby, and
Okay.
Prior to my divorce, it was all flowers and waterfalls and all that stuff.
So we'll get back into that.
All right.
How long? So you've been into photography for quite a while now. So aside from high school, did you actually go to college for photography?
No, I'm self-taught. I didn't go to college for it. I actually am very big on kind of learning things myself and
Yeah.
digging in, getting into it hands-on.
Yeah.
I'm not the type that'll just sit in the classroom and just absorb it and be good at it. I've got to really get into it. So
yeah, I think on the way we had school, you and I had school. I grew up in the southern tier of Buffalo, and we had a photography club as well back then. And I never got into photography, so I don't know how to do film, dark rooms, or anything like that. So I'm kind of self-taught as well. So it's kind of interesting how you and I are self-taught in that way. But you kind of took a different turn in your career. So how long have you been doing bikini and model photography?
Since about 2013.
Oh, okay.
Coming up on about 9 years.
Yeah.
And it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a life changer for me.
So were you whatchamacallit? Were you self promoted, or did you have a agency that was sending you work?
No, I didn't have an agency. What happened was I had a friend of mine had a glamour event shoot aboard a yacht locally, and that was the first time I had done that. So I ventured into that, and I figured I could try it out.
Oh, cool.
And it was an emotional thing because I had a model that really broke down in tears in front of me. That she was looking at the back of the camera and she was like, "Oh my God, that's me!" And it was just a great feeling, and I just took to it, and I loved the social aspect of it, meeting new people, making new friends.
Yeah.
Started going to different events throughout the country and across the world, really, and increased the network and just started networking that way. And
right.
I'm very I'm very, very picky about the work, and the quality means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather not put out that much and just what I put out my best. And
Sure.
this way, it's a slow, gradual process, but I just like my work to kind of do the talking for me.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I really haven't had anybody promoting me too much. I mean, on social media recently, I started getting together with some promotional sites,
Right. Yep.
things like that. The typical social media thing.
Yep. So you had touched on a divorce. That wasn't because of your photography doing
No.
bikini boss. But it's got to be tough, though. I mean, I would imagine it would be tough. I mean, I don't think that my wife would allow me to shoot beautiful women all day like you do and go on location to all these gorgeous places and beaches and stuff. I don't think.
There's a select few that I know of that really have been able to make that work, but in general, it's kind of a hazard of the kind of goes with the territory. It's pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
There is so much jealousy and so on, and it's a natural thing.
Now, she did say I could do some boudoir photography, just so you know.
Okay.
But it would have to be like the local fire department, the police department, men in blue.
Just
and
that's
exactly.
Then she'd be okay with it.
Now, see, that might be a different genre that you and I could get into, or not. So, but that's the only boudoir photography that would I would be allowed to do. So, so as a follower of your Instagram page, I know you've traveled extensively. Who has the most beautiful beaches, quote unquote, beaches?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I personally like the beaches in the Caribbean more than any others. I've been to Fiji. I've shot in Fiji, and it was a fantastic experience. Quality of the beach, though, as far as I'm concerned, it's not quite as good as what you find in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
The problem I have with the beaches is I take half the sand with me, so I tend to do a lot of rolling around in the surf while I'm shooting, and I end up with sand everywhere. I still have sand from Jamaica in my camera equipment that I'm trying to get out.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's not good. They don't mix very well.
No. But, as I say, anything for the shot. You do what you got to do for the shot.
Yeah. Now, is there one particular country that you frequent more than others, or is it kind of like wherever they send you?
No, it's I'm kind of partial to Mexico around Tulum area. I think the Tulum area is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it there. It's hard to say more than other because I'm really going to a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I just got back from LA and Las Vegas last week. I'm going down to Saturday. I'm leaving for Exuma. We got a week shooting down in Exuma. I'll be down in Florida for a week after that.
You in Arizona?
No, Exuma, Bahamas.
Oh, Zuma. Okay.
Exuma.
I was going to say, wow.
Right, Exuma, not Yuma. Yeah. It's the home of the famous saltwater swimming pigs.
Well, I thought maybe you'd be doing a desert shot or something.
And I just got back from that, actually. Ran across the first rattlesnake in the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a killer video.
Oh, you saw that? I showed it to you.
Yeah. So what do you think would be your toughest work assignment on location would be?
Toughest work assignment. I mean, I had a situation in Costa Rica where it was just a ton of rain. Made it pretty difficult to do it. I mean, there's only so many, like rainforest jungle shoots kind of thing you can do.
Oh, yeah.
You got to watch the gear. You can't get the gear wet. So.
Yep, I've been to Costa Rica. I love it there, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Jungle too. So. But all right, so the technical questions that I wanted to ask you, are you a Nikon, Sony, or Canon guy?
I'm a Canon guy.
Okay. Are you self-contained on remote shoots, or do you rent, or do the publications provide everything?
No, it's all my own gear.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Just been accumulating it over time, and I upgrade. And when unfortunately sometimes happens when a wave catches my camera when it's not supposed to, that's the time to upgrade to another camera.
What are you shooting with these days?
An R5.
Oh, so you got one of the newer mirrorless.
Yes, because
What
I
do you
had a
think?
wing in Jamaica last year.
Oh, nice. What do you think about? What do you think of it?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Now, did you
I
get the
have
lenses, or do you got the adapter to go with it?
I have the adapter, and I actually like having the adapter because I like the. I'm a big user of the circular polarizer
Oh, yeah.
filter, and
Yeah.
I have the adapter with the built-in circular polarizer, which lets me just swap out lenses, and I don't have to have
Oh, yeah.
different polarizers and all that. So
Yeah.
it's actually to the point where it's caused me to hold back from buying the RF lenses because I've got a nice collection of lenses I have. I love them, and the adapter works out great for me with that. So I'm kind of happy with that setup.
Okay, cool.
I haven't really found a reason to to drop another $3 or $4 grand and
Yeah.
for another
Oh,
lens.
yeah. Yeah. All right. So enough of you. You want to bring in your guests, and I can throw a few questions at
Enough
them.
of me. Oh,
Is there
all right. I'm out of here.
is there anything I forgot to ask you that you wanted to add?
I don't know. I'm an open book. I don't know what you might want to know. I'm not used to talking about myself, so
No, I hear what you.
yeah. To think about it. But my guests, do my guests want to come on? Guests are busy on the phone doing a live something. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Kelsey, Alyssa, you want to hop in?
Sorry, we were picking out outfits for this shoot.
It's okay. So I mean, I got generic questions that I could have one answer and then the other answer after that. But how did the both of you get into modeling? Kelsey?
I can actually begin with this one. So how did I get into modeling? I was actually living out in Tampa, Bay Area, and I was 17. I ran away. It didn't work out for me too well. All right, so 8 months later, I turned 18. In those 8 months, I come back here with my mother, where I grew up. And I was like, shit, after being alone for 8 months, what do you think you want to do? Stay with your mom? That's crazy, right? Okay, so I'm like, I think I'm going to figure something out to do about this. So exactly what I did. People had been DMing me since I had just turned 18, but I was in Florida. I must have lurked on my Instagram from when I was, I made it locally in Long Island. And I went back into all those DMs and asked them, hey, do you still want to shoot? They said yes. So I shot with like 4 or 5 local people that are pretty well known. And then from there, as they post you get exposure from them. And I began to get more shoots. And then I realized that it could be an actual business and that this could take over everything that I do, the amount that I'm getting paid if I was to line it up and plan properly. So from there, I started to do that. And I made enough money to move out in 2 months. And then I went to Tampa with the confidence that I'd be able to find work out there because I knew just based on how it was out here, I really, really thought that I could. So I learned some more platforms, moved out there, and began my work out there. And since then, it's only went up. And Alyssa, how about you?
All right. So I was nice little lengthy story there.
Yeah,
So I was actually in college for medical assisting at the time. I had a friend named Samantha who was doing modeling. I had no knowledge of it, had never modeled before. Initially, I started modeling as a way to make some extra cash because I knew that there were photographers who were willing to pay for artistic nude work and things of that nature. So she had put me on to same thing, a couple local Long Island photographers who I shot with. Once I did my first couple of shoots and kind of decided that I liked it, but I liked the exposure from it, and I liked kind of the pace of modeling. And kind of what Kelsey said, like that I could make a decent amount of money from it. I took it pretty far. I ended up moving into Brooklyn with my baby's father, who at the time was not, I didn't have a baby at the time. But I moved into Brooklyn with him. And as you probably know, there's a lot of work in the city. So I kind of just took off from there, and here I am now.
Nice. How long? So you guys are relatively new to the modeling business?
I've been doing it for like 2.5 years now.
I would say same 2.5 years since I turned 18, and I'm
She
20
started
now.
a few months before me, so yeah.
Did you guys know each other
Actually,
prior?
coincidentally shot with the same photographer first.
Oh, no kidding.
Our first shoot, I shot with him after her. And he said, "Hey, you remind me a lot of this girl." And I said, "Who?" And he was like, "Her name's Alyssa." And he was like, "Yeah, she started, she learned about it and then just kind of took off really fast." He was like, "And you remind me of her because you did the same thing." So that was definitely interesting. And then we ended up like getting booked, not because of us communicating. We got booked for other shoots in the future together, and ended up being friends. So yeah, that's
Nice.
that.
So how did you end up shooting with Craig?
Craig was actually earlier in my.
They got lucky.
I'm not sure.
They did.
I think I shot with Craig without Kelsey involved. I shot with Craig with my friend Sam initially, and then I did another shoot with Craig while I was pregnant. And then this is about my fourth time shooting with Craig now.
So you did some pregnancy shots.
Oh yeah.
I'm no longer pregnant now. I don't think it's
Oh, that's good.
It was Christmas.
I would have never guessed that you
shoot.
had any kid. So, but okay. I was going to ask you if kind of going to make a joke about Barbazon. Is it something that just happened, or did somebody approach you? But you guys both already answered that. But is Barbazon still in business?
Oh,
what is it called?
Barbazon. It's a school for modeling.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know if they are in business.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
Now
So
there's a
way
lot
back
of
in the
like
day. That was before
online
my time.
opportunities. There's so many online opportunities. If you just go into Google and look up modeling classes, 1,000 different classes will come up in your area. A lot of them take place in the city, but to be completely honest with you, I personally, and I'm sure Kelsey can agree with me on this one, I've never taken any classes. I kind of just learned from experience and watching other models that were more experienced than I was.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
That's what I found seems to be very common in the industry. It's, and a lot of the models is they're friends with each other and they'll help each other out.
Oh yeah. So Alyssa, what was the most difficult shoot you've ever had to do?
Difficult shoot. I would say my most difficult shoot.
And without naming any names.
Okay, yeah.
Thank God.
So I got this one. It's not anything bad or anything. Most difficult shoot would probably be I did one in Brooklyn. It was like Brooklyn borderline Manhattan, and it was an abandoned train yard. So there was a bunch of abandoned subways. And these guys, I was coming to collab with them. So they weren't paying me, I wasn't paying them, it was just a mutual collaboration. And I come there, and as I pull up to the site, like I'm on foot, mind you, I took the subway. And as I'm approaching like this abandoned train yard, there's two guys standing there who I expected, but they're holding a 7-foot ladder. And I'm like, what the fuck is the ladder for? Because I'm scared of heights, so I don't know what they wanted from me. They were asking me to climb on top of the subway, which they said like they didn't discuss this before the shoot. They're like, if you're not comfortable with it, whatever, you don't have to do it. And I was like, all right, screw it, let's just get the shot. So I climbed a 7-foot ladder on top of a train. Mind you, I was also in a Catwoman costume with combat boots on, and there was rain all on top of the train, so everything was slipping.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I almost busted my ass like 3 times, but it was good. The shots came out really nice.
The end result was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Kelsey, what about you, since we're on the subject?
Okay, my most difficult shoot that I could say I had to do would probably be off the top of my head. Let me think. All right, so this is fucked up. So I was in Tampa, and I was right when I moved out there, like from ending where my story ended before. It was a couple months, and I was just learning how to get work out there, whatever. I worked at Tampa Yacht Club for a while until I was able to pick up and get enough work that I didn't have to, work a normal job anymore. But I got this inquiry, and it was in where was it? Shit, it was Lakeland. So Lakeland from where I live is like an hour drive.
Yeah,
so
I know where that is.
I drove that hour, and I was like, all right. I was like, let's see what this is. So it was like supposed to be like a swim skit of some sort. So I get there, and I have to sign all these papers. And weird, like super weird. I got there the first 45 minutes with this dude like coming this close to me. You're gonna have to sign this. Da-da-da-da. Him and his wife had on like the t-shirts of the brand, whatever the name was. And anyways, I got in the pool. I got outside. And he has like this pool. barely a pool, like literally the size of two times the size of your hot tub over there. I would say no more than like a 20-foot pool, lengthwise, and then what's it called? Width was probably like, I don't, the shit was small, very small I've ever seen. And he was like, yeah, so pretty much he had all this scuba gear. And he said that I had to put, like the breathing shit, everything.
Yeah.
And I had to do all these tests. I'm already here, so I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And I had to do all these tests before I could do the actual shoot. So when I tell you I was there for 3 hours, it did not matter how much it wasn't worth it. I had to pretend to drown, right? I had to literally do a whole skit. So he's like, listen, this house, pretend that it's your house and you're a caretaker for like an old lady and she died, but she died because you saw her having a heart attack and you didn't call anybody or do anything about it because you were on her will and you were going to get this property. So I'm like evil in the skit, you know what I mean? So I had to lay on the side of the pool and like wave my arm into the water. This is after performing some sick shit. Like to be able to do this, I had to pass this test. The test consisted of some really crazy shit. I had to go under the water and hold my breath for X amount of time. I had to swim under the water for, I remember, 10 minutes, right? With the breathing thing. But the pool's not that big, so I'm pretty much just going back and forth. You get tired, swimming's hard. And I'm just going back and forth for 10 minutes, just swimming randomly around his pool. And he records me with an underwater camera using the breathing gear. He also made me go and pick up bricks and swim with them back and forth, like all crazy shit, just to be able to do this dumbass skit. Okay, so now let's get to the skit. So the skit was pretty much this, exactly how it began. That was what he wanted us to do. And then as I'm laying there, I'm going like this, and he's like, he didn't give me any like lines. He basically was like, this is who you are, now act it out. So I'm like this, and I'm waving my arm around in the water, and then I literally sound, I'm not an actor, you know what I mean? It's not my job. So I'm laying there, and I'm like, this old lady must be stupid as fuck. Now she's dead, and I have my whole house. Like, this is me trying to make a 4 minutes of the 5 sentences that he gave me, about who I'm supposed to be. And somehow I made it happen after trial like 5. And then if that video sells a view, because people must have a fetish. So anyways, at the end of the thing, I get yanked in by her ghost, or the lady's ghost. I get yanked in the water by her ghost, quote unquote. So like the arm that's like swaying in the water as I lay on the side of the pool. I get pulled in and I have to pretend to go in. Then I have to, like, how when you blow out, it keeps you down.
Yeah.
So they give you a bunch of weights to put around you, and you pretend like, because it keeps you down, you know what I mean? And you pretend like you fucking drown, and you can't move. And he takes a video of that. So it's like pretty much like people who have obsessions with, more of like a fetish thing, because it was for resale of watching people drown. He said, now once this sells once, you can come back. So obviously it's sold, you know what I mean? Because I can't. They fucking sold, whatever. He said, you can come back now. I'm like, I'm never answering this guy again. So that was like my worst, most complex shoot. Like you have no idea. Like I was like, there's no fucking way. Also in the bathroom after, you could take a shower before you go home. So I was at this point, I was like, I guess I might as well, right? And then there was like a note on the door that said like, to make sure the shirt was closed in case anybody comes in. And I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, so you guys make me take a shit while I'm showering? And anyways, the wife comes in while I'm taking a shower. It was literally, and I'm not kidding, the worst experience of my life. The worst experience of my life. Like, horrible. But yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, it brings up a secondary question. Is kind of like, is it a common occurrence that you go into these photo shoots, both you and Alyssa, that you had no idea what was in store for what they wanted to do?
I feel like what they say some of the time, which you learn experience, like honestly right now it's like, hey, I'm gonna send my rate card, which I didn't know then, but I'm gonna send my rate card. It has what I'm willing to do on it and what it would cost for that. And if that's not in the realm, then we probably should talk anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
I was a lot more open to do a lot of other things. So, or maybe most of them I didn't think would be as bad, but it's not really a chance that I'm willing to take anymore, being that I've grown and I get more work anyway. I feel like it was more of a desperate part when I was new, and it was, one of the 10 inquiries I got that week or that month, whatever. But now it's definitely expanded, so I don't have to do as much of that or nude work in general. But I do work because of the money. But like, yeah.
So no role playing type photography type stuff. Yeah, that's kind of scary. I mean, you both had situations where, Alyssa's afraid of heights, and then they're putting you in that situation. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm glad I asked that question. So, here's a question for both of you. What are some of the misconceptions about being a model?
I mean, for me, being full time like travel now. So right after this, I've been in New York for 2 weeks, being it's a hot spot and there's a lot of work out here, as you know. And I reside in Tampa. And pretty much after this, I'm going to go to Miami for a few days. I go back to Tampa for like 5 days to exchange my bag, whatever. Then Miami, back to Tampa for another like 3 days, 4 days.
Just don't go to Lakeland.
What? No.
Just don't go to Lakeland.
Lakeland is off my list for sure. No, but yeah. So I'm nonstop traveling. Miami, Chicago, and then I'm gonna get back, have a week, and I'm going to Bali for like the 2 first weeks of September for an influencer trip. So that's definitely to link with an influencer who's a lot bigger than me, who should help grow my account. But I will say a misconception of it would be how it looks on the outside versus what it actually is. It's not that fun. Traveling is dope, but when you're doing it for any sort of work, I mean, it's it's a little bit different. So definitely that part. It's not like I just have all the money in the world to travel. Like, no, I'm spending this money, making an investment in myself to possibly make more. If I'm not with an agency, they're not paying for it. So to expose myself in those areas costs money, and it takes a lot of work because I'm not going there to take shitty photos. So definitely more tiring than I feel like it looks on the outside. But that's the perspective from a model, and I don't know how Craig feels about it, but.
Alyssa, do you have anything to add?
Not much. I mean, I would say I agree. I tell people all the time that if you love something, when you start doing it for money, it becomes work.
Yeah.
So,
Very true.
it's kind of just taking the gigs as they come and trying to learn to enjoy it every bit as much as I enjoyed it when I first started,
Yeah. So, back to, you had already mentioned that you are a new mommy. How hard is it to keep your girls' physiques in the shape that they are in?
I would say, well, you're talking about these, right?
Well, well, I mean, some ladies they have the the belly, the after having a baby.
So I mean, when I had my daughter, first things first, I'm grateful. I'm not with her father, but he does help with the baby. So I have a lot of free time to myself, which is great. So I immediately started going back to the gym because I knew modeling was something I wanted to continue. I'm not gonna lie, being that I am so young, my body did kind of just bounce back naturally.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with genetics and like the age you are when you give birth. But
baby fat,
I
that's what I
was
was looking at.
breastfeeding at first and everything, and I stopped breastfeeding. My boobs got a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But
back to normal.
I mean, now that I'm like actively in the gym 6 days a week, I love my physique just as much as before I was pregnant, if not more. So
okay. Alyssa, what about you? I mean, you're not a mommy, but how hard is it to keep your physique in the shape that it's in?
Health. Talk about your physique and going to the gym. How hard is it to keep it?
I would say at first it's difficult, but once you learn, what's the word? Once you learn consistency, motivation so there's consistency and there's motivation, right? Motivation you're not always going to have. We have bad weeks, especially as females.
Oh, sure.
They're more hormonal, and we get sad and da 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 da. But if you can keep your consistency and you could say, hey, even though I feel like this today, I'm still going to go. So I would say being consistent is definitely more important than being motivated, because you're not always going to be motivated, and that's human. But once you get there, that consistency will take care of you and bring you motivation. So I would say once you get into a rhythm, it's not that hard. You'll have hard days like anything else, like work, like school, like you'll have hard days like anything else in life. But I would definitely say it is easy. It's easy once you get a nice track of consistency and you learn how to trust yourself. Like, I trust myself completely. I could feel the most absolute garbage, and I know that I'm going to make it there. You know what I mean? The most that I'll do is I'll take a day off that I wasn't supposed to, but besides that, the next morning I'm on my own ass. So like, it's more like a consistency thing. I'll be like, yo, you still feel like shit, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It's going to be 10 times harder if I come back to 4 days and try to do this. So you kind of realize that the only thing that's going to harm is yourself, and that's it. But me and Alyssa actually work out together a lot, and we follow a very similar workout plan. So we motivate each other a lot as well. If one of us isn't motivated, we're good friends. So she'll call me in the morning. She'll be like, hey, today's not the day. I'll already be dressed in my gym clothes, brushing my teeth. I'll be like, I'm on the way to the gym, or the other way around sometimes. And it kind of motivates the other person to do that as well. But as for yourself, I'd say it's pretty easy once you get in the rhythm. I mean, which is, I guess, if I was going to say it's hard, I feel like I'd be like kind of degrading myself in a way because there's other things that are way harder than that, if that makes sense. Like, nah, this is
Sure.
easy. I got this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So where as I wrap up this interview, where can everybody find you? What we're on Facebook, Instagram?
So we have multiple socials, but if you use our Instagram, that's our main platform, and then from there, there's a link, a plush link with our social media management in both of our bios that you can go on for everything else, such as brand deals or our model Mayhem, which has a lot of other images from our portfolio that are more explicit, and as well as our explicit content that you could is for purchase. So we send out pay-per-view messages 2 every day on there, and there's also posts every day. And our OnlyFans are actually free. So the Instagram, the link in our bio will actually provide all of that for everybody on the podcast. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna say mine, or is it better if we commented, or is there a better way to do it, or just say it aloud?
Not you, and then Alyssa, and
All
I
right,
already
so
have Craig's.
To access all my links is KELSEYJOANOREILLY.
All right. And my
Got it short
Instagram is at Alyssas Empire. So that's ELLYSSASEMPIRE. And just hit the link in my bio for all other information.
Excellent, awesome, and I'll post that on the YouTube video as well. So when people watch the video, they can actually scroll down and see in the bylines what your handles are, and they can go from there as well.
I wanted to appreciate you for letting me on your podcast today. And you have my Instagram. Just email the email in my bio if you ever want me or Alyssa to stream again. It's the same thing. Just link to her bio or link to mine.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Or even
Yeah.
a private stream or something, whatever, if you're ever interested in that. But I appreciate you letting us on today.
Well, thank you for your time. Your time's more valuable than mine.
No, I appreciate that. Great yourself.
All right.
All right, Craig. So there you have it, folks. My buddy Craig Block, photographer extraordinaire. I want to thank him for his time, his donated time to come on Long Island Sounds and talk about his journey to get to where he is today. And also I want to thank his 2 lovely guests, Kelsey O'Reilly and Alyssa Empire. Thank you for your time. And until next time, speaking of time, time's out. So we will see you next time. Have a great night.